Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ayyuhan nas al-habib. Peace be upon you in the mercy of Allah and His sanctification, O beloved people. Al-yawmul jum'ati. Today is the day of the gathering, which is the sixth day. Happy holy day to the Moors. Now, today is an interesting day because today all of the planets and asteroids and celestial influences are ultimately ruled by the sun. The sun has complete dominion today over all of the planets. How so? Through the planets' governances, all leading back to Leo, through either the moon or through Mercury. For instance, the sun rules Leo. The sun is in Leo, so the sun rules itself. Mercury, moon and Mercury are both in Leo, so they're both directly ruled by the sun. Now every planet either cycles to Mercury or to the moon. So you have Venus, which is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, which is directly ruled by the sun. Then you have Mars, which is ruled by Mercury because it's in Virgo, which is directly ruled by the sun. Then you have Jupiter, which is in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, which is directly ruled by the sun. Then you have Saturn, Neptune, and the asteroid Chiron, all in Aries, which are ruled by Mars, which is in Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, which is directly ruled by the sun. Then you have Uranus, which is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, which is directly ruled by the sun. Then you have Pluto, which is ruled by Uranus because it is in Aquarius, and it is co-ruled by Saturn. So Uranus is ruled by Mercury, directly ruled by the sun, and Saturn is in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, which is ruled by Mercury, which is directly ruled by the sun. So all of the celestial influences, right? Oh, and the true north node is in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune, which is ruled by Mars, which is ruled by Mercury, directly ruled by the sun. And the opposite south node is Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, which is directly ruled by the sun. So all of the planets today answer to the sun. So what does that mean? That means that the sense of purpose and your vitality, right, for the day are very high and very centered on what it is that you see yourself as. Leo is the sign of regality, royalty. It is the sign of attention, right? I would like to say that it is the sign of make-believe, pretend, behaving in a regal manner, being it before it. Your behavior and the way you perceive yourself or conceive yourself, properly said, the way you see yourself determines how your day goes today. Are you focused on your purpose? Because Leo is a fixed sign, fixed fire. Fire is enthusiasm, which literally means to be inspired by the Creator, right? So, are you inspired by the Creator, right? Or invigorated, rather. Are you invigorated by the Creator to serve the purpose of the Creator in your life? There's a purpose that we choose, then there's a purpose that chooses us, that the Creator has chosen to choose us. That is where you will find your most success in this life and in the next life. And some people will find success in this life, but not in the next life. Some people will find success in the next life, right? But to others, they will not have perceived, right, or conceived them being successful in this life. But if you have success in the next life, then you have had success in this life. I think the quote was from Einstein. Every animal, he said animal, but I'm going to say every biological entity is a genius, so to speak. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its entire life thinking it's stupid. So, success doesn't mean material things. Everybody has material things. If you want to be honest, everybody has, to some degree, rode in a conveyance of some nature, of some sort, to go somewhere. Even if one time, right? Unless you're starving until you transition, everybody eats, or has at least eaten, right? And unless you live in the woods, in the jungles, and you're one of those ancient tribal nations that still exist on the earth, to a degree you have clothing. It might not be great clothing, but you have clothing. So most people have food, clothing, and shelter, and at least access to conveyances. So, what's going on over there? Subhanallah. So, you really need to see yourself as being wealthy, healthy, and prosperous, especially if you live here in North America. I'm not going to say there's no other prosperous place, but this is the land of milk and honey, so the energy for success here and achievement is higher than other places, not because of politics, not because of, resources, but because of the innate energy that this land represents, which is Scorpio. And Scorpio is profundity. And Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. And Pluto right now is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus and co-ruled by Saturn. Uranus, being in Gemini, makes this energy very, very, very high-minded. So the everyday thoughts need to be innovative. This innovative energy will cycle back to Mercury in Leo, which will cause you to have even loftier thoughts of the innovative thoughts that you're thinking, which will lead back to your sense of purpose, which is a regal sense of purpose. We really need to see ourselves as emperors and empresses, because we're successors to the Creator. So we have a divine purpose on this earth. We're really caretakers of the earth. In the Old Testament, I don't like calling it that, in the Torah, it says that we were given dominion over the earth, right? So if we're given dominion over the earth, the first earth you deal with is your physical body. So you should be putting healthy things in and on your body to treat yourself like the emperor or empress that you are. Showing you how to use this energy. I'm going to go in, right? So since we're in the eagle land, Aquila, which is ruled by Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, Pluto being in Aquarius, Aquarius is the age that we're in. So Uranus rules the age that we're in, and Saturn co-rules the age that we're in. So with Uranus being in Gemini and Saturn being retrograde in Aries, we get to redress how we've been acting, right? Are we acting out of structure, out of alignment, right? You get back in alignment, and that cycles back to Mars in Virgo, meticulous action. This meticulous action right, will lead you to concoct a better plan in whatever situation you find yourself in that you made for yourself, because manifestation, anything you see in Torut, which is the matrix, which is the world around you, which is the illusionary world, is only what you've been conceiving, right? So that we're dealing with the Uranus and Gemini energy, right? Which cycles to Mercury. And then we're also dealing with the meticulous action, aiding others and aiding yourself wherever Mars falls in your chart, to lead back to what? Mercury, both leading to Mercury. And then Mercury in Leo, lofty communication, regal communication, attentive communication, and conception thoughts, leading back to a regal sense of purpose. Right? So now we're in the Eagle land for today. That cycles back to a sense of great purpose. What's the great purpose? To take care of this land, right? To form the communities that will do this, right? Now people are getting back into farming. Why did that happen, right? Or growing their own food. That was because Uranus, rebelliousness, right, was in Taurus, and it's still on the cusp. So since it's still on the cusp, that energy is still there. So that energy will be innovated, and now we will have new scientific discoveries on how to use that energy, and we'll have new scientific discoveries on how to communicate. Keep your eye on etymology. It will become very, very, very important to you. There will be many, many, many discoveries into language, thought forms, and communicative or social psychology. Things ruled by Mercury. Short distance travel will also be innovated during this time. You know, look to these people well, don't look to them, but expect them to change their rules governing, you know, driver's license and all of the rest of these ordinances and things that they have. I don't want to call it false because it's their system, right? But we know that we have the right to travel, and that has absolutely nothing to do with what these people are doing. However, if you are being contracted to these people and you don't comprehend your contract, or you're not making innovations to distance yourself from these contracts on a private side, then you're going to get caught up in what they're doing. But remember, this is rebelliousness. So even they're going to rebel against the rules that they previously set, which means it's going to be chaotic for them and anyone who's going to get caught up in that energy. Why? Because that's the energy of Uranus, and it's in Gemini, right? Two sides to the coin. Mental versatility. I can go this way or I can go that way. Luckily, the energy is stable, right? Thank goodness for the Mercury retrograde, because it's going to stay in Leo for a while to keep that energy stable. But once it moves into Virgo, the energy will be unstable, because it will cycle from Uranus to Mercury, and then Mercury will rule itself in Virgo, and Virgo is a sign of aid, concoction, and meticulousness. So the littlest things will cause, I won't say outrage, but if at that point, if your mind isn't cognitive of the details, then Uranus's energy will, let's just say it'll bring that out in a chaotic way for those who are not being meticulous and paying attention to the details. That's what the retrograde is getting you to do now. The retrograde is getting you to focus, to stay focused, and to see the big picture so that when Mercury does transition into its sign of rulership, you can stay on point and make sure that you focus on all of the details, you dot all of the I's and cross all of the T's, leave no stone unturned. Be very, very, very thorough and meticulous. Right? So the true node is your true self of the soul, whereas the true self is the sun sign, and the expression, right, the outward expression of that self is in the ascendant. So the true node for now is in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. So Pisces is the sign of extrasensory conception, and this extrasensory conception at this time is being impulsively redirected, right? Redirected in other areas. You may be tired more often. Your sleep cycles may be being interrupted. I know mine definitely are. It doesn't matter when I go to sleep. My body wakes me up 7:40 on a dot before my alarm. It doesn't matter. I could have went to bed 5 o'clock in the morning, 7:50 up. So, that's exactly what happened. Well, so I'm kind of tired right now, but I'm also energized. Why? Because it's Aries. So that's that unique energy, because extrasensorily you're being awoken impulsively, or your sleep cycles are being cut short, because Aries is an impulsive sign. It's quick, initiation, cardinal. Whereas if it was in a fixed sign, it would be stable. However, the energy will take a turn on the 6th of August when Mars enters Virgo. Then it will be ruled by Mercury, and then wherever Mercury is at, which it will still be in Leo during that time, it will still cycle back. Mars will be in Venus, ruled Libra. So that energy will take a different turn, right? But for now, it's meticulous, right? So this is how you use the energy, right? Or I'll better explain how to use the energy before I conclude. All of the planets, sun sense of purpose, see yourself as regal. Moon conjunct Mercury in 13 degrees Leo. The moon is intuition. Intuit yourself into the position that you see yourself in. From that position into a greater future. Communicate this to yourself. Say affirmations. Venus in Gemini, right? The more mentally versatile that you see yourself, the more situations, the more favorable, right? Venus, favorable. Gemini, mental. The more favorable you see yourself in these imaginations, the more favorable that you communicate during your affirmations, makes this energy more viable for you. Mars in Virgo, we talked about the meticulous action, right? Take meticulous action, right? Take calculated, concerted action to behave regally. That's believable for you. You can go over the top, but we all know you're going to have to fight that lower self-ego that's going to come in with the doubt. So depending upon your level of jihad, internal jihad is struggle in Arabic, that inner struggle. If you're a heavyweight pro, a champion who has a championship, go all out. If you're halfway, don't pull your punches. If you're a novice, calculate your moves. Stick and move, block, evade as necessary. Because we already know that, for the most part, the lower self tears holes into most people. So the next energy would be Jupiter in Cancer, right? And we've talked about this on other videos, anticipating from your desired reality into a better reality, as if that reality is already now, because it is, because all timelines collapse into one. The Saturn energy, you redirect how you are structuring your life, become a leader there, right? Advertise yourself as a leader. Advertise yourself as someone who can get the job done for yourself. I'm getting the job done for myself, right? And that energy that I just explained is Neptune. Why? Because they're conjunct. So it's one and the same. Structure that. Uranus, we explained how to use that energy. And in Pluto, that's destruction and reconstruction after the destruction. So you break down what people say no longer serves you, which is how you used to think, right? Meditation. Aquarius. Forgive me for my pauses. I told you I'm kind of tired, but it's all good. I got to do what I got to do. So, the energy of Aquarius is meditative. What you constantly meditate on, constantly thinking about, or constantly clearing your mind and having only that there. You deconstruct that. Most people think about their problems. They contemplate on what's going wrong. Never complain. Nothing bad happens to a true faithful one, right? A true believer. To believe literally means to put love into something. Let this pass. Allahumma khafif anhum. So, the energy of Pluto right now is breaking down the sciences that people thought were ironclad, but they're not. They're being proven to be pseudosciences, and we're going back to the old ethereal sciences of ethereal geothermal energy, and basically actually the energy of the ethers. Free energy will be a thing of our time. They don't want it to be a thing of our time, but they don't have any power over that. That's why they need to create societies where people will be in those societies and will be cut off from other societies that are using these things. Because these people already believe that it doesn't exist, even though we have literally thousands of Tartarian free energy videos out there, and flat earth videos. Globe earth has been completely debunked. Anybody still on that is under a rock. Anybody that's still following the mainstream period is under a rock, or you're just an agent at this point. Anything mainstream, anything, even the Moorish history, mainstream, you're under a rock. And just stay there, because it'll be real comfortable for you under that rock. Because if you get up, you're going to see a lot of things that you don't want to see. Uranus energy. Right? The Pluto energy cycles back to Uranus, which cycles back to Mercury for today, which cycles back to the Sun. So all of this is encapsulated in your sense of purpose. What is your sense of purpose? I know my sense of purpose. My sense of purpose is to follow the Quran and lead a life that's healthy, wealthy, and allodial. Meaning I own everything in fee simple in my private trust, foreign to this government, and it'll be defended. I'll just put it like that. It'll be defended with my life. And I'm going to pass it to my heirs. And that's just what it is. It is that. Because I said it's that. There's only now. I've declared it. And it is. I get out of the way. Right? That Pluto energy. Right? You don't have any power over the healing process. Because if it's regeneration, it's healing. Right? So Pluto actually rules the healing process, the regeneration process. Aquarius, high-mindedness, meditate, put on binaural beats, you heal quicker. Right? Meditate, you ask the Creator, you heal quicker. You don't worry about it, you heal quicker. That's how it works. Now, if you align your desired life with healing, and then you know you don't do anything to heal, you just aid the process and then let it happen. If you get cut, you put on some gauze, right? Some calendula cream, right? Wrap it, band-aid it, whatever. You let it sit. You don't keep messing with it. You let it sit. You let it do what it's supposed to do. You let it take its course. Even with a fever, you let it take its course. And then that's what the healing process is. The fever is actually the healing process. So all of the inner turmoil in the outward circumstances of people and the actual circumstances, because all of the circumstances, really, it is people. Because if a tree or something is in the way, you're either going to go around, go over, or cut it. Now, if it's a person, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to deal with some level of communication with that person. Now, the communication is usually in the form of words, or it's in the form of contract. Right? And then the contract law, that's Saturn, it's in Aries. So now everything is about adverse possession at this point, because it needs to be taken. It's adverse, and you need to possess. Why? Because those are the energies ruled by, naturally, Saturn. Saturn is restriction. When you possess something, you restrict it from movement. It's possessed. You have it. You have it now. You have a hold on it. The grasp. Right? So that's how you use these energies for your greatest good. The manifestation comes from the mind. The mind is paired with the sun and the solar energy for today. So the sense of purpose is why you're doing everything that you're doing. Call it dhikrullah, right? Remembrance of Allah. Allah is the purpose, right? The sun, circumpunct, that dot in the middle, right? Everything centers around that purpose, right? The circle, the dot in the middle. The dot in the middle is the sense of purpose. Everything else revolves around that. And that's how it is. And the circumpunct is actually the symbol of the earth. And the outer circle just shows what the sun is doing. It's circling the central mountain of the earth. And that outer ring is the ice ring, Antarctica. Dropping the science, showing you in real time how the Pluto and Aquarius energy with Uranus and Gemini be communicating it to you for the sense of purpose to align you with the new society that's coming in a sense of Tawgut, the Matrix, because it's like you don't see it, but you need to see it in your eyes because it's already here. You know, pine cone shaped crafts over Connecticut and all the rest of that type of stuff. You could say it's AI, but AI in and of itself is a wonder, right? You're talking to a machine and it's talking back to you. You know, so. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, أيها الناس الحبيب وداعا